Howdy folks, it's Mama B, and today we're going to continue with our crochet along for JoJo skirt. Now, the last video ended and I was just going to go as far as I could. This is as far as I've gotten. I've got just a little bit more on this row to do, but I've run out of the thread, so I'm going to just show you how I connect here. Just take it and twist it around. I'm making a square knot, so this end stays on this side of the row of the yarn, and this end will see how it stays. It's up on the top and the top there, and then just swing it around like that. I have just recently started connecting like this. I love it because the knot is so flat and tiny you can't feel it, and then you got enough string or enough of the yarn to be able to hide the ends, and they stay pretty solidly. So that's what we're going to do. Now I've done this row just almost there, guys, but because it's going to be white, the white will tie in with that thread pretty good, and it's going to just transition into the next row just fine. Now if you're particular, then you'll want to make sure that you have enough of the color of yarn that you're using. I'm using scrap yarn. I'm just using up different ends that I have. So I'm going to do this with the white and finish off this row, and then I'll just show you the next stitch that I'm going to do. Now there's lots of ways to connect yarns, so if you don't like this one, that's okay. You pick a different one, that will be fine. The 3 yarns that I showed at the beginning of the video to use, I've decided they're not going to be enough to finish a full skirt for JoJo. So I'm going to incorporate other yarns, pulling from the colors of these 3 that I've chosen. So for this one, because white's such a convenient one, we're going with white. And you might see that the white is not the same exactly, but I'm using scrap yarns, and like my grandpa always said, you can never tell on a galloping horse. So JoJo is nothing if she's not a galloping horse, always on the move, and she's going to be going past you so fast you'll be lucky if you even see the skirt, let alone that the yarns don't match up exactly. So we're just about done. I'm going to finish this row, and then we'll start the next stitch, and I'll show that to you. Okay, so we've come to the end. I did a slip stitch to finish it off, and this is pretty great. One thing I wanted to point out, when you're using up scrap yarns, if you're mixing different brands and stuff like that, which using up scrap yarns you usually are, you'll want to find some that are close to the same size in thickness and in texture. This one's a little off, but like I said, galloping horse. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so one of the things that I'm really glad about is that it ended on that first row stitch, because that gives you a nice straight edge to crochet on. Sometimes when you end with something different, like with more bumps and stuff like that, you have to choose your stitches wisely so that you can work it in. But where this has ended with a nice smooth stitch, I can do anything that I want. So I've been thinking about it, and I think that I want to do the butterfly stitch next. So we're going to start by making your chain to turn to the next row, and then I'm going to do sets of 5. I don't want the holes in the skirt to be too big, because if the holes, like the holes I'm talking about, are like this kind of thing, if they're too big, they'll snag, and that can be problematic for an on-the-go kind of kid that JoJo is. So we're going to do 5, and we're going to skip 3 of these stitches back on our thing, on our last row, and we're going to go in with a double crochet And I like to do 3 in between, but you can do 3 or 5. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do 5 because I like to do 5 sometimes too. And today just feels like I could do 5 in between, kind of a thing. So there's 4, 5, and then chain 5. Plus, that'll be nice to just go 5, 5, 5, 5, and then skip 3 and go back in there and do 5 double crochets. Now, the butterfly stitch, if you're not aware of it, if you're not familiar with it, you'll have to do 3 or more rows of this. 3 is ideal, and then we'll pull them all, these chains all together, and it'll make kind of a butterfly shape. So I'll work through it with you, but for now this is what we're going to do. We're just going to do chain 5 and 5 double crochets in each stitch. There'll be no doubling up on this. Don't love it when the yarn separates. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to do the double crochets, 5, 1 per stitch, all the way around, alternating with chains of 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what your row is going to look like. You'll do that all the way around. Now I'm going to speed it up for us. Alrighty, here we come to the end of the next row, and you can see that it just looks like that all the way around. I've come to my chain, and I started my 5 double crochets, so I need 3 more, 2 more, and I'm just kind of working it in there. Do you see that? So we're going to stick another one right in there. It's a little tight. There we go. You want that count to be right though, because you're going to need to come back and add on to that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to chain up. That will start the next 5, and then chain 5. So I chained 3, and now we're chaining 5 on top of it. So 8 total. And then we're just going to go double crochet into each one of the last double crochets from the last row. So there will be 5. Just like that. And we're going to go all the way around again, chaining 5 in between. I think you get the general idea, and the next few rows will be pretty fast. But we're going to speed them up for you because we can, thanks to modern technology. Okay, so we've come into the end of that row. We finish out the 5 double crochets. I've got the one on this side that's going to act as a double crochet, so we only need 4 on this side. We're going to go up to the 3rd chain and just do a slip stitch into that one, and then our row is complete. So we'll just keep doing this. 1, 2, 3, and then for the 5 we're going to go 1, 2, and we come down around both of them and do a single crochet around both of the 2 chains from the previous 2 rows. And then we're going to chain 2, and you'll see that it makes kind of a butterfly formation. You see that? So then we just keep going, and we'll make a whole row like this. And that completes our butterfly stitch. Isn't that nice? And do the next one. 1, 2, 3, goes around everything. 4, 5, and back into our 5 double crochets. I think I might need to slow it down a little bit because I'm used to just zipping through it here while we're trying to get in between the different shots. 2, go down around all of those bars of the chains and do a single crochet, and then chain 2 more, and then go into your double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is what it will start to look like. When you get to the end, you'll finish your double crochets, and you can do the next row with chains, and we'll show you how to do that. For now, let's speed it up. Okay, so we're coming around to the end of this row. I'm going to show you how to get the next row started. And then from there, we're just going to basically go as many of these as you want. So you do the same as you did with the last one. You'll count to the 3rd chain, do a slip stitch, and then you're ready to start the next row. And see the little butterflies? Aren't those cute? Okay, so the next row will be pretty much the same thing. You chain 3, then chain 5. So it's 8 total. And then you do 5 double crochets. Chain 5. And 5 more double crochets, and it will start to look like that. Now if this is enough, you just want 1 row of butterflies, I would still do this in this row, because then you can do anything on this nice straight row that you want, any stitch that you want to add, and the spacing will be even. So keep that in mind if you decide to abort the butterfly stitch situation and go on to a different stitch. But we're going to do another row of butterflies, and I think that we'll just finish this and get back to you with our next color and our next stitch. But there you go. That's the butterfly stitch. And this is how you start the next set of butterflies, or finish your row and change to the next stitch. Well folks, I hope this video has helped you and inspired you, and I hope you're having a lot of fun crocheting along with us. We love having you, and we're just so grateful for the time you spend with us. Have a fantastic day.